Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Welcome to our video in auditing the series. Today we will learn about checking intangible assets. These are things like goodwill, patents, and trademarks. We will cover how to audit them, check their value, and make sure they are reported correctly in financial statement. So guys, let's discuss. In the first slide, what are intangible assets? These are critical value derived for modern business, defined by their non-physical nature and identifiable value. There is in number one, identifiable non-monetary assets, and number two, expected future business, and number three, core example. In identifiable non-monetary assets, lacking physical substance but distinct from other assets, on trademark, customer, and relationship. And number two, expected future benefit, controlled by the identity. These assets are expected to generate economic benefit over time. And number three, a core example. For example, patents, copyright, software, and brand names, and customer lists, and acquired goodwill. And then the next slide, there is recognition criteria for intangible asset. For expenditure to be capitalized as an intangible asset, strict criteria must be met, ensuring the asset viability and measurability. And number one, probable future economic benefit, and the second, reliable cost measurement, and then number three, separable of legal rights. In number one, probable future economic benefit, there is management must demonstrate it is more likely than not that the asset will generate positive cash flow. And then second, reliable cost measurement is the cost to acquire or develop the asset must be capable of being measured accurately. And then the last, separable or legal rights. The asset must be separable or can be sold, transferred, or licensed, and or arise from contractual or other legal rights. So the next slide, there are challenges in auditing intangible asset. The unique nature of intangible asset present auditor with specific verification difficult. For example, lack of physical form. This verification cannot rely on visual inspection, require reliance on documentation and legal status. So the second, subjective valuation. This unlike tangible asset, many intangible like active market price, making valuation technique is complex and judgment driven. And the less complex legal frameworks, there is the value and control are tied to intellectual property laws and licensing agreements and difficult to track renewal terms. So the next, there is key audit procedure. So the next, slide, there is key. So the next slide, there is key audit procedure. There is documentary review, evaluate valuation method, and verify ownership and acceptance. The last, assess internal control. So in documentary review, examine all underlying contract, agreement, or purchase and license, and test amortization schedule for accuracy. And the second, evaluate valuation method, assess compliance with special standard and AEC 350 for US GAAP or EFRS, and the reasonableness of key assumption. And the number three, verify ownership and acceptance come from legal rights via patent or trademark registration, domain ownership, record, or legal business. And the last assess internal control, review, control, governing the capitalization of costs, tracking of asset useful lives, and impairment analysis process. And then the next slide, there is valuation of process. Auditor must understand the methodology of determine the fair value of intangible asset. Uh, the number one market approach, and the second income approach, and the last cost approach. In market approach, they compress the subject asset to price of identical or similar asset in arm length transaction, or often difficult due to uniqueness. And second income approach, this is discount. Mm, discount expected future cash flow directly attributable to the intangible asset back to a present value, or most common. And the last cost approach, the estimates the cost to replace or replace the asset with a new one of equivalent utility, or often used for internally developed software or database. So the next slide, there is presentation and disclosure requirements. Clear and detailed reporting is essential for investor understanding, and complaints are primarily governed by A is C300 in US GAAP. There is balance sheet classification, amortization details, and impairment summary, and acquisition note. So the next slide, real world example in auditing software intangible. This said, there is verified licensing and rights, review capitalization policy, and test amortization and impairment. So in the last slide, there is conclusion for ensuring reliable intangible asset reporting. Intangible assets are central to corporate value, demanding sophisticated and rigorous audit security. There is critical value drivers and test transparency and technical and practical skill. Knowledge that IP, brands, and technology are often the primary source of enterprise value today, and proper recognition, value, and disclosure build confidence among investor and stakeholder. And then auditors must be combined a strong understanding of technical standard with the practical ability to verify complex legal and economic data. So that's all for today on Team Tangible Asset from Auditing 2. We'll learn about auditing goodwill patents and trademarks and how to value them right. I hope this helped you in your studies. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe for more, and comment your questions below. See you next time. Thank you guys. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.